For the first time, I genuinely have no clue how to even start this video off. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, I've spent well over 55 hours with the Arkham games in preparation for what will most likely be my most in-depth analysis of a game so far on this channel. Gotham Knights, like many other games, is what every modern game struggles to admit itself to be: another mediocre game that seems to have been forgotten by many. I feel like this game was meant to be the successor to the Arkham series and fails in many ways. It feels less complex even at a glance. It actually kind of pains me to make this video because on some level I enjoyed this game, but I'd be lying if I were to say this game exceeds its predecessors in any fashion. I played all of the games in order of release. I could see the minor changes and adjustments made to suit each game perfectly, and while some may not notice, I surely did, especially after finishing them all in such a short time period. If I were to rank each of the games from best to worst, I'd say Arkham Knight, City, Origins, and finally Asylum, because it felt like a test dummy to see whether or not people would actually enjoy a Batman style beat 'em up type of game. And personally, I did not find much enjoyment in Asylum. It feels unpolished and maybe even unfinished in many areas, specifically the combat, but it feels a lot more refreshing in later installments, such as Arkham City. Arkham City definitely improved on the combat by making it feel less clunky. Overall, I don't think Asylum is a bad game, but it could have used a little more development time. And even after saying that, I still think Arkham Asylum is a better game than Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights feels like it's trying to mimic the Arkham games, but not fully committing, so you get left with a hollow body of a video game. The only drastic difference in Gotham Knights compared to the Arkham games is that you start the game off by selecting one of 4 characters, which you can switch between later on if you choose to do so: Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batgirl. I ended up playing exclusively as Batgirl because I kind of feel like the game wants you to play as her, and also she's the closest thing to Batman you get. So when I'm talking about the combat, just know I'm only talking about her. Compared to the Arkham games, it's subjective whether or not you think this is a good thing or not. Personally, I wish they had just focused on one character instead of allowing the player to choose their favorite. It could have led to a far more interesting combat system and maybe even a better story. And while it's obvious you play as Batman, there are moments throughout all of the games when you get a chance to play as one of the side characters, such as Robin or Catwoman. Origins does not allow this, which makes perfect sense because Batman is still establishing himself as a superhero. It's actually pretty cool to have interactions between 2 characters and immediately jump into their perspective and start beating up bad guys. It adds a little charm to the games and makes them feel more alive and like there's genuine chemistry instead of them only communicating through cutscenes and dialogue segments you're forced to listen to. Trying to force a relationship with characters will never work. I don't care how hard you try. One thing that I both love and hate is the traversal system in this game. And I say hate because you don't unlock the glider until you finish your combat training. Then and only then do you get the ability to glide, and I am annoyed because I refused to do this for like 1/4 of the game and eventually got tired of not being able to glide. It really doesn't take long to complete. I was just being lazy and didn't want to. But once you attain the glider, the motorcycle becomes kind of useless, and I wasn't even that mad. Gliding in this game feels a lot better than driving, and most of the time I used my glider because you can glide everywhere and you never feel like you're gonna hit the ground unless there is nothing to grapple onto. The motorcycle feels slower than gliding and almost like it's not even moving. It looks like the ground is moving and the bike is being dragged along. It's truly horrible. And on top of all of that, most of the roads are just a straight line. There's hardly any skill to driving at all. You can hit a wall and just bounce off of it like it's made of rubber or something. And when you pop a wheelie, it never feels like if you make a mistake and crash, you'll go flying off of the bike. No, you just keep driving like normal. Like, what were they thinking when they made this? This is the laziest thing I've seen in a video game yet. There are games that have come out over 10 years ago that have animations for you flying off of your motorcycle. In this game, you're glued to your bike no matter what. I guess Batgirl just has superhuman strength. And once again, roads feel like a pathway for how the city would be structured, and it looks awful. This does not look like Gotham. And of course, I have to use the greatest example, Arkham Knight. I mean, just look at the game. How could you not be immersed in this world? Still one of the greatest looking and most creatively designed cities in gaming history. And really, I could use any of the games as an example. They all look amazing. Arkham Asylum came out in 2009 and mogs Gotham Knights in every single category. Arkham City as well, and Origins. limitations. And it's never been the hardware limitations. They worked with what they had, and they perfectly used lighting to make the city have this rough, dark atmosphere. It blends elements of realism and a comic book art style together, and it's absolutely stunning. The gliding mechanics are even better as well. Somehow, and these games are all over a decade old, how is this even possible? Gotham Knights gliding lacks any feeling of being weighed down, as well as when using the grappling hook. When gliding through the air, you slowly descend, but it doesn't feel quite right. You don't cover long distances as well as you could in any of the Arkham games, and have to constantly spam the grappling hook. Also, the city in Gotham Knights does not feel dense at all. This is by far the greatest crime this game commits. The reason the Arkham games feel so huge is that everything is close together, which gives the illusion of the map being larger than it actually is. Truly amazing developers. Developers today would have the audacity to say they don't have the resources or some idiotic statement similar to that. Gotham Knights even has Ubisoft towers, which wouldn't annoy me that much if you didn't have to scan drones to unlock them, which was very annoying because you need to wait for them to land to scan them if they have a shield bubble covering them, and sometimes the drones flying sequences would take forever to allow them to land. Origins had Ubisoft fast travel points as well, but I just ignored them. I had more fun gliding around anyways. Taking in the view from above is how these games are meant to be played. Something that I won't hold against the Arkham games, but I will for Gotham Knights, is the stealth. The stealth in Gotham Knights is so half done, and I don't want to hear excuses about how each character has their own special abilities that work better for certain situations, like Robin is better for sneaking around. I don't care. I played as Batgirl for a reason. The gadgets are lacking in this game. Batman has so many different tools to use so you can approach any situation without being seen. In Gotham Knights, you can sneak behind someone, silent takedown, and that's just about it. I will admit I suck at stealth and played very aggressively when given the opportunity in all of these games, and I ended up suffering the consequences for my poor actions, so I will cut the game some slack. I do believe Asylum has it the worst, and arguably the most difficult stealth system amongst the Arkham games. At least at the beginning of the game, I was not a fan. Gotham Knights just has a far more shallow system to its gameplay than all of the Arkham games, which is funny because you have a skill tree. I'm so tired of skill trees in video games. Every time you level up, you get a point to put into your skill tree, and I tried so hard to ignore it, but there would be a pop-up telling you to use your skill points, and I would have been distracted otherwise. You know, it's the typical usual upgrades in these games: increased damage, defense, and maybe some new moves to add to your arsenal. One thing I used pretty often was this drone that can deal damage to enemies and heal you, which was kind of OP considering you don't take much damage unless it's one of the big brutes or a boss. And even if you do, the game allows you to hold 7 medkits. Pretty ridiculous, and I did play this on easy, but either way, that's just overkill. I don't think I died a single time in my entire playthrough, at least not in combat, so most of the time I was stuck at 7. Once again, we have the Arkham games, which again, I played all on easy, and no, you don't get medkits. And yes, there is some form of a skill tree, and I will keep the same energy and say I don't like them, even in these games. Pausing the game to gain some new upgrade that allows me to do something I should have already been able to do in the first place is annoying. Although these upgrades are far more useful, especially in Night and Origins where they felt a lot more in-depth. I did glaze over this earlier, so I'll touch on it now. Arkham Knight has some of the most satisfying driving mechanics I've ever experienced in a video game. I know it's not perfect, but I had so much fun driving and blowing things up with the Batmobile. Compared to Gotham Knights, the driving is practically flawless. It was fast and I could shoot things with my car and even run over other vehicles on the road. You're even allowed to destroy things in the environment like gates and walls, benches and pillars, etc, etc. But in Gotham Knights, you're lucky if you can knock over a trash can. You can't even run into people, and if you try to, the game will move them out of the way of the vehicle because they didn't add collision physics to random NPCs on sidewalks, I guess. Which I find pretty hilarious because there are so many civilians on the street in this game. You'd think after the death of Batman, the streets would be completely dead, since the biggest threat to the common crook has finally fallen. But no, there are constantly NPCs walking around in the middle of the night in Gotham City. Arguably the most dangerous fictional city ever thought up. I really wonder if the people making this game were high or on the lower end of the IQ scale. While in Night and Origins, especially Night, most of the people walking the streets are criminals. In Night, most of the city fled due to Scarecrow's threats of terrorism. But I'm getting off topic. Towards the end of the game, when you fight Jason underground in the tunnels, is when I started questioning if the driving was actually good. because that boss fight was terrible. Driving around in a tunnel while some huge metal machine chases you down doesn't exactly spell out a good old time. Honestly, I didn't like any of the boss fights in Night or Asylum. Asylum by far has the worst boss fights, the most creative, but still bad fights. Asylum is just misery. Like, I don't even know where to begin. The Killer Croc fight was unbelievably boring. Walk slowly across floating wooden platforms so Croc can't hear you, but still knows exactly where you are, then randomly appears either behind you or to the side of you, and immediately charges at you, throw Batarang, end result shocking him, causing him to fall back into the water, and somehow not dying from the electrical charge. And you do this I don't even know how many times, because when I was told to move slowly, I took it literally and hardly moved my joystick forward in fear of immediately dying as a result of impatience. Then there's the Poison Ivy fight where you just spam your Batarang and dodge her plants. Fighting off minions wouldn't be a generic boss battle without annoying henchmen trying to punch you. You're gonna hate this. And the final fight against Joker was quite literally a joke. Like, you don't even fight him, you fight his crew of crooks, dodge his long bony claws he gets from taking Titan, turning him into a literal abomination, and after beating up his unreliable crew, you just pull him down from a ledge with the grappling hook. Like, that's not even a real boss fight. And once again, I hate to say it, but while I did hate those fights with a passion, it's still more memorable than any of the boss battles from Gotham Knights, except the final fight against Talia the girl boss. I legit can't remember any of them. They're all forgettable, and I'm not looking them up to prove my point. And no, I'm not counting side quests, I'm talking strictly the main storyline. I don't even think there were that many, actually. The Arkham games boss battles were basically gimmick fights, and I don't think that's bad, but Asylum would have been better if they just didn't exist. A boss fight I absolutely loved though was the Clayface fight in City. You dodge his charging attacks and throw freeze grenades at him. Then he turns into a huge frozen mud man and you use Talia's sword to chop him up. Then you end up fighting his mud minions and throw a frost grenade in his mouth, rinse and repeat. A pretty fun boss fight. Also love the fight against Baze, or whatever his name is. I still don't know how to say his name. Just a cool fight. I feel like it's one of those fights that you need to experience for yourself to really understand why it's fun. He ends up dying near the end of the game, and it's well deserved. I'm not going to go into too much detail about every single fight in every single game. I just want to show some examples so you could better understand where I'm coming from. And now let's talk about the game's performance and bugs. For the most part, all of the games ran pretty well. Gotham Knights actually ran the best, surprisingly enough. With the Arkham games, sometimes I would randomly get lag spikes out of nowhere. Not really game breaking, but to the point that made me want to take a deep breath in annoyance. And as for bugs, I didn't have any issues with Gotham Knights. But Arkham Asylum, there's a point where I got stuck in an elevator and couldn't move, and had to restart this mini boss battle. I was not happy. And at the beginning of Origins, the sound randomly cut out, which was very strange because when I paused the game, I still heard the main menu sounds. It was fixed after restarting the game entirely, and that's pretty much it, aside from City having some lag during loading back into the game directly after a cutscene finished. But overall, the games ran pretty well. I don't really have a lot to complain about, but I had to mention those few things. The physics in Gotham Knights are okay, I guess. But once again, Arkham Knights exceeds significantly. Arkham Knights ragdoll physics are high-key ridiculous. You punch an enemy, finishing him off, and after the punch, he gets launched into the air. I've seen this happen so many times, it's actually comical. I don't even think it's necessarily a bad thing. Immersion breaking, I guess, but Batman is more than capable of punching a guy 15 feet into the air. And speaking of beating up bad guys, I noticed something. While all of the enemies in the Arkham games are men, Gotham Knights has a very high number of female criminals. Yes, beating women is good. I will never understand this type of propaganda. I already know someone's gonna call me crazy for pointing this out, but I've seen this in Spider-Man 2 as well. It just exists to desensitize you to violence against women in the real world. So if you need to face off against a powerful woman in real life, you have no problem caving your skull in, because women are just as strong as men. So I guess it's a fair fight, right? Or so that's what the feminists want you to believe. I really thought feminism died out, but boy was I wrong. I know it's subtle in a lot of games unless it's something like Silent Hill F, but there are so many disingenuous fools who will blindly ignore the obvious propaganda and make excuses for things like this, even if the developers literally come out and confirm it. There are other nuggets of leftist propaganda in this game, like the girl boss, which kind of annoyed me, but not as much as I expected it to. Batman gets manipulated by Talia, and I have quite a bit to say about her. Just you wait. And she forces him to use the Lazarus Pit after his death, bringing him back to life. I was gonna cover the story in detail, but I might as well just spoil the whole thing quickly. So Batman dies after his fight against Talia's father, Boss. The Knights of Gotham have to take up the challenge of defending Gotham. Some guy named Kurt Langstrom is killed, and you have to uncover the mystery behind his death, as well as Batman's death. Running into Talia at the GCPD, caught burning her father's body instead of reviving him. Fast forward, you discover the leader of the Court of Owls. Yes, the Court of Owls. I will definitely come back to that, don't you worry. Jacob Kane. Jacob Kane killed him because he was noticing too much, and we can't have that. He ends up getting assassinated by Talia and reveals she's the true mastermind behind it all, and had set the whole thing up to take over Gotham, and attempts to use Bruce by reviving his corpse, as I said earlier, so she could force him to become the new leader of the League of Shadows, which is exactly what her father wanted from him. I just find it funny that she, of all people, tries to manipulate him into becoming their leader when, in Arkham City, Talia is meant to be Batman's love interest, and even asks him, after he sneaks underground to save himself from death, if he was sure about taking the throne. This is so out of character for her. She obviously cared about him and even sacrificed herself to save his life. But in Gotham Knights, she manipulates him into doing her bidding. This is one huge reason I'm glad I played the Arkham games, because if I didn't, I would never have even talked about how bad this is. I highly doubt anyone who reviewed this has even touched on how ridiculous this is. Another thing is how ugly she has become. Literally every single female character in Arkham City is attractive. Catwoman, who you get to play as, very fun, I loved her segments. Poison Ivy, which is sadly downgraded in Arkham Knight. Arkham City Ivy mogs her. I hate her newer design. And finally, Talia is a straight up dime. She literally dies for you. I can't think of a more perfect woman. In Gotham Knights, she's just an ugly woman. Batgirl is legitimately the only reason I even decided to play this game again. And I'm surprised she's even mildly attractive. And I kid you not, you can literally see her camel tail. And she has nice proportions. I'll just say that. I think you can figure out what that means. And I was shocked when I originally saw her. She's no dime, but she's very pretty for modern game standards, and the obvious choice to play as. And the voice acting in this game just feels so stale. Like, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's okay. It just feels like I'm watching a CW TV show. It almost doesn't even feel like a video game a lot of the time.
Once we can get at the data, we can figure out what our next move is.
I'm going out. I'm not gonna sit and wait for whatever this shit is.
We're waiting for intel, Jason. Once we have it, then we'll go.
Move. I'm gonna solve this case my way.
Stop it! He wanted us to work this together.
Gotham practically lined up to kill Batman. Every time Bruce came home, bloodied, near death, I patched him up. Just as I now do for you. He was often angry, but he never stooped to their level. And neither will you.
Alfred's right. Batman had a code. No matter how tough this gets, we can't betray it.
The court is made up of Gotham's founding families. They'll protect their own like only family will.
They may be related, but they aren't family. Not like we are.
And when driving past civilians on a motorcycle, you'll hear them talk about the most nonsensical garbage imaginable.
Why is that girl around? My mother wanted to get us something down, but I'm not sure what to tell her. Why is that girl around? I wouldn't want something that would just stay in a cup.
While again, I can use any game as an example really, the Arkham games have the bad guys you know, talking about Batman or whatever the main villain they work for, or what's going on in the criminal underworld. It feels immersive. Gotham Knights is like middle-aged single women, gossiping and making snarky comments and remarks. My immersion is destroyed. And as promised, I will be covering the satanic imagery plaguing this game. As I stated earlier, there's a group of people called the Court of Owls who wear owl-like masks to conceal their identity. I covered this conspiracy theory in my Prey video as well if you want to check that out. And I'm just curious why it's always an owl with these people. A secret organization of elites that runs Gotham behind the scenes and even killed Kirk Langstrom. And maybe this is a huge reach, but I'll say it anyways. There's literally a part in this game where you infiltrate Bruce Wayne's memorial party or whatever it is honoring him, and some random party guests say, and I quote, "He deserved to be let go, just like Kirk. People forget their place." I don't think I need to explain how insane this is. Yes, I know this game came out 3 years ago, but there's literally a movie that predicted his death. So what's so crazy about this statement?
Did you hear about Langstrom's assistant?
He deserved to be let go. Just like Kirk, people forget their place.
I even recall Talia saying to Batman, again, word for word, "Take back the city that is your birthright."
Defeat this pretender. Take back the city that is your birthright.
By the way, Bruce Wayne is Jewish, just thought I'd throw that out there in case anyone was wondering. I have no idea how people ignored this. It's so blatant. The fact that no one brings any of this up is just concerning to me. Finally face off against Talia in a boring two-phase boss fight, and of course she gets away, and you don't get to decapitate her. Batman uses his plane to fly into the Lazarus pit, destroying it once and for all so no one can use it for evil, sacrificing himself in the process. And what a horrible ending. Coming back to life just to die again. How magnificent. It really felt like the writers just wanted a way to screw over the Batman fans. With the middle finger, they killed him again. Roll credits. This has to be the most mediocre video game ever made, and I'm sure that statement will lose its title soon enough, as there are far more disappointing games lined up to release. It's not even that I had high expectations, it's just that I expected better than this. The mission design in this game is structured so that you waste the most time possible by doing side activities to proceed to the next mission, and pretending that beating up bad guys and then interrogating a guy is somehow interesting after the 5th time in a row doing it. They could have been far more creative, but modern game devs need a way to drag out their game so they can say it's 20 hours long, which would be fine if the games were actually fun. But actually no, I take that back. A game like this should never be 20 hours long because most people wouldn't even be bothered to play through a 20-hour Arkham style story. The gameplay would get boring halfway through. I'll keep saying this, the shorter the better. Shorter games have more replay value, especially an Arkham-like game. And most of what you're doing is fighting bad guys. It took me 10 to 12 hours to beat this game. And yes, I ignored the side content and focused mainly on the story. They removed any level of sexualization amongst the females. None of the women have this seductive undertone to their voices anymore. It's just normal HR dialogue. Extremely bland. No, everyone just sticks to the generic script.
Please, mistress, he tricked me.
Leave. I will deal with you later.
You didn't need to get yourself arrested to see me, Bruce.
Are you okay?
Perfect.
What little girl doesn't dream of being bait for her strapping Dark Knight?
I hate the lighting, which could easily be fixed with one of the filters you can use in the photo mode that makes the game feel a little more like Gotham. Harley Quinn is a downgrade in this game as well too, which I honestly don't care much. I've never liked her, which is why I purposely ignored talking about her earlier on. But in Arkham Knight, you pick her up after one-shotting her as you do in every game and get a nice view. I won't lie. There are no nice views in Gotham Knights unless you're playing as Batgirl. And even then, her cape gets in the way most of the time. And that's it. Gotham Knights is a game that exists. Should you play it? I mean, if you're a Batgirl fan, go for it, I guess. And yeah, that's it.
Well, look who it is. What do you want, B-Man? Come to stick the knife in some more? Well, go on then, I don't care. I'm not telling you nothing. I'm not even gonna tell you about the crap Joker took from Freeze and locked up in the boiler room. What are you? Stop! Don't you dare! If you don't stop doing that, I'm gonna... What are you? What? Did you have fun beating up a defenseless girl? Don't you